Do I have a motion to approve classified and certified personnel as presented?
Motion.
We have a motion and a second. We have a second, Mr. Smith. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, motion carries. All right, let's just spend a little bit of time, if you would, please, and just share with them policy 2100 and all this good stuff.
Sure. So I have been asked from time to time about what it means to take action as an individual board member versus the board, and so I often refer back to your policy 2100, which says that the board is a body corporate. That's also what the statute says, meaning that members of the board only have authority when acting as a board in a board meeting, and the board is not bound by any statement or action of an individual member, except if they've been delegated to do that by the board. And I know that comes up sometimes with the liaison meetings too, and so forth, that those folks don't have authority to take action in those meetings because they've not been given that authority by the board. Any committee or individual board member, as far as taking action, only has the power that the board gives it.
Okay.
Anything else?
So how do we as individual board members, how do we go in schools, ask for lots of information, meet with this person or the other, whatever? Because I know we have some board members who do go into schools, and it's not just our newest ones, but others as well. How do other school systems deal with those kind of things?
Certainly, as Mr. Rivers said, public records are public records, and those are available to anyone. Now, how quickly you get them depends on how difficult they are to generate and to locate. I think that part of what we're talking about here actually does go back to both what you have elsewhere in policy and in your superintendent's contract, which is also public, is that the board sets a policy direction and then the superintendent carries it out. As you've talked about tonight with J.F. Webb, the board made a policy decision, the superintendent then carries it out and makes sort of the day-to-day decisions about how to carry it out. Some of the things that we talk about when we talk about, visiting schools, I think different districts handle that different ways, but you do have to be aware that there's a chain of command for a reason as far as individuals needing to understand who their boss is. That's just, in any business. But, in the schools, as we've just discussed, board members are there, gathering information, but don't have authority to act. Now, when it comes to personnel issues or student issues, anything that could come to the board on some sort of appeal, I always do caution you, because if you have been involved before it comes to the board, you can taint a board hearing, and there are cases where decisions, sometimes good decisions made by a board have been overturned because the court found that they were tainted by bias because one or more board members had been involved before. So those are always things to consider.
But what I'm getting at is, board member, all seven of us, if we wanted to, could go and visit anywhere we wanted to, whenever we wanted to.
Well, to the extent that citizens could. I mean, I can't just show up in the school. I would need an appointment. To get an appointment, I would, need a reason. But
So is that clear to all of us? That when you say we need an appointment, that means what?
I think I'm going to turn to the superintendent here.
It's been my practice. If I wanted to go visit a school, to call and let the principal know. Because, lots of things goes on in schools. And the reason that I do this is because I've been to a school and could not see the principal because she was with, meeting with, parents, teachers. So there are good times and bad times to visit schools. That we don't have a policy that say that, I don't think. But that comes from my own personal experience. And I don't go to school very often. But when I go, if I decide to go to credit, I'd call the school and see if it would be a good time for me to visit. And basically, if I needed to know something specific about it, they would have time to give the information.
What is,
If I can add to that, Mr. Pete, I don't know if we actually literally have a policy, but I know we have a procedure that is somewhere in line with that, that we would contact the principal, even sometime we even let the superintendent know.
do we have a procedure that's written?
I think it's something that, I know we talked about something.
Because I think you're right on something. But one thing we need to remind everybody is, what is in your contract related to this?
And if there's something the board needs that they don't go directly to staff, because you don't know necessarily what staff might be working on or doing, but that you let me know, I then let the staff know. You're exactly right, if something's already been developed, then it's just public record. It's a matter of how quickly we can get it to you, but if you're asking for something, this is where the problem is. It's not quite been created the way you're asking for it. That's something.
Yeah, that comes from the board, that comes from us making a request to be at a board meeting.
I do like, I've done with this board, and that is if there is a request or an abundance of requests, I'll bring it to this board, and I'll get direction from them on whether they'd like for our staff to stop to put these things together or not. And that becomes a board decision.
Speaking of public records, we all pretty much have the same access. And the concern I have, when you call the superintendent, if all of us call the superintendent and wanted something different, then we could actually find out ourselves by going to public records. I mean, you just have a lot of time, because knowing, Dr. McLean, she tries to accommodate us and give us what we ask for. But I think it's up to us to not ask for stuff that we can access ourselves.
Do you think it's appropriate for the superintendent to be aware when a board member goes into a school?
I know when me and Mr. Nims came on, it was kind of a procedural thing. They told us that it was a courtesy to Dr. Howard. And I think because what I have noticed walking into a school for any reason, whether even they're going to meet Dr. McLean, we made that announcement of understanding, people act differently around us. It puts the staff all uptight, and automatically they're wondering, what are we gonna stir up, or what are we there for?
What have you done wrong?
That's right.
Which in turn makes them want to call their boss, and then their boss is wondering what in the world one of us is in the school for. I think just a matter of courtesy. I like Mr. Peace's thing is that you call and make an appointment, and then if you want something. In my line of work, we deal with this a lot. People love to drop by the office, which means I get 3 more hours behind on the other requests they'd asked for the day before. So I think it's just a matter of respect and procedure of call ahead and ask and then inform. And maybe not even necessarily even tell Dr. McLean, call her even at that, let our office know so that can be communicated back.
That's good.
It's helpful because you're right, I have to go into damage control. When people see you as board members coming to the school for whatever reason, they don't see the neighborly citizen just coming by to check on you. They really do believe something is wrong, someone has reported something, you've come to investigate or check. And so when I can send something out to say, hey, be on the lookout, such and such has said they'd like to stop by this week. I believe Mr. Mr. You all had a week or 2 last year, and I gave principals heads up. You know, it's okay, it's fine. It allowed them to put their staff at risk, because that becomes an issue for them. So it's one of those things that if we can, work together, I think it makes it just smooth.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else have any comments or thoughts?
I do.
Mr. Yu?
The biggest problem I have is people calling me. Now, I don't go to their house and find out information. But, and I know what you said about being careful, but by the time I figure out what they're talking about, so, I already know just about everything that they've said. And then the first thing I do is, have you been to the principal?
Right.
Yes. I said, then you need to call the county office. On some things, I just say, okay, and I just turn around and call Dr. Winborn, and he says, you want me to get back with you? I said, no, just take care of it, this is what they said. But I don't go to people's houses and talk to them about things, or, no. But,
And there's only so much, you're gonna learn things, you're living in the community.
but as far as going to the schools, I found it useful that if I have questions, not about anything going on at the school, but just about the school itself, if I ask the same question to every principal, I'm not deviating from it, but usually the questions that I have deal with how many total personnel do you have working here? Or, something, like how many is on your basketball team? Because, as I told Dr. McLean, I give 2 of my checks back a month to the school systems. And one of the things I do is I'll sponsor, during EOGs, one school and pay for their entire lunch. That way the teachers, because they can't leave. I wish they could do every school, but they can't. So usually the questions I have though are not, what is the word? Not interfering with the operations of the school.
Investigating.
That's
So,
Okay, good.
And teachers appreciate that. What we have to do is probably sell it a little bit more, because there were some teachers that didn't know what you had done for them. And I always want them to be appreciative.
I don't go in and tell them.
I know, it's
just,
like Santa.
Just do it.
yeah, I just
Careful.
arrange it with the principal and deliver the food and I'm gone.
Great.
Will
Okay,
will-
Ms.
will
Benz?
you put that word out then? Because I've been approached that people want to see.
That's what I've, over and over.
They figure that, hey, if you don't come out, you don't care about us.
That's right.
So you need to put the word out that board members, I'll go twice a year or whatever, but the idea of just showing up every month, let them know that I care about them, that's,
Well, I'll tell you, I think that just showing up is probably the problematic place, but the making sure you're there. Like this season, we have so many winter and holiday concerts going on. I think I've been invited to just about one at every school. There's no way I can make it. So there are times like this, I really need your help, because they see us as one body.
Good point. That's a good point.
They see the leadership as whether we support their school or not. So it would be wonderful when you look at their websites, maybe see when this concert is or this holiday extravaganza is and all. And please, by all means, just show up there. The principals will probably introduce you. And if you let me know where you're going, I'll be sure to get it to the principal. Such and such is gonna come support tonight. Please make sure, because I think our families enjoy seeing us too. They really, really do. They enjoy seeing us. There is no way there's just no way we can make all of them happen. So I know. The other thing that matters is when we have certain events, for example, and I'll share this in just a moment, I like to do a state of the school this year. But we've had the kitchen table conversations and the community strategic plan pieces, all of it. It's important they see we're there. It sends a message about how much we care at this level. They do. They see us as one body. So anything we can do to be on one page would be great.
Okay, so just to review, if you're going into a school, you call and get an appointment with the principal,
Just let
and
me
you
know.
let the Dr. McLean's office know that you're going.
Rhonda will make sure I get the message.
And material that is, what's the word? Material that you request that's public records, is open, and when you get requests for that, you'll do it within a reasonable, the staff will do it within a reasonable time.
If it's existing.
And those requests should go through you.
That's right. And I will send it to everyone. I will send the request that's been made to everyone, and we will do our best to get that as quickly as we
Do
can.
you really need to do that? If Mr. Richardson has a particular interest, I don't really need to get that if it's not something that I'm working on, because it's just more work for me to go through it, read it, and say, I don't need to know this, and discard it. I would prefer,
It's best.
if an individual wants something, that individual gets it, and then he can share it or with the board at a meeting. I prefer not to get everybody's request sent to me.
It's a best practice for superintendents to make certain what they give one board member, they give all board members.
Yeah.
So if you don't need it, you're welcome to discard it or put it aside. But even you probably can speak to that some as well with other students you work with. I never.
I always try to, reply all, or at least let them know that it's available.
Let us know it's available.
Absolutely.
Okay, anything else, do we feel like it's, because we want everybody to hear the same message and be able to do whatever, because that actually was a little bit different in terms of the process than I realized. So this has certainly been helpful for me, and I hope it has been for all of you. Okay. Okay, anything else?
I had an outstanding question for Director of HR.
Yes, sir. You?
So, do you remember my question?
Teachers leaving mid-year.
Why is there so many leaving? What can we do to stop that?
That's a tough answer to a difficult question. At most, we can hold them for 30 days, and most of them do stay the additional 30 days, or the 30 days, excuse me. But the time between seeking qualified candidates, going through the interview process, and checking references may sometimes bleed a little bit longer than the 30 days, because that 30 days is based on calendar days and not school days. We are actively recruiting all year long, so we have all of our job vacancies go out to social media, specifically Indeed. So we do have marketing outside of just Granville County Public Schools. So we're doing our best to market. We're doing the winter job fair. So it's a continuous recruitment opportunity. But it is difficult to find candidates with low unemployment as it is right now in the States.
And it's catastrophic. I mean, with the Affordable Care Act, I guess, has hurt our long-term substitutes.
Right.
So how do we solve that problem?
So we're using our employees, substitutes rather, 3 days a week. We have retirees who come in, who do the planning, come in 3 days, and someone else come in the other 2 days. Our schools are been operating pretty successfully so far this year with the substitutes that we have not had any complaints. We are making, I will say based on the vacancy report that you received today, there are some pending names, but we cannot bring them forth because we don't have clear background checks on some of these vacancies just yet.
So these teachers who are burnt out, who are leaving, why are they burnt out? Discipline? What's causing?
There are a number of things between discipline. If you've worked in EC, there's a ton of paperwork in EC. The stress of just working in a school, some just cannot handle the burden. School has changed from, I know when I started back in the early 2000s to now, it's not the same. There's more pressure from the state level, national level, especially when it comes down to testing and accountability and the pressure. Some people cannot handle that pressure. Discipline is also a factor for some. Some cannot handle classroom management appropriately, even though we have professional development and those who are coming in to mentor and train, some just cannot handle it.
So is there anything we can do to cut back on the reporting requirements? I hear teachers complain about that all the time. They want to teach, and they spend all their time filling out forms.
Some of that, no, because a lot of it is dictated from the state. It's prescribed by the state or the federal government.
And nothing we're adding on top of.
We try not to add additional kinds of information for teachers to fill out. Because we try to limit that. You know, it's best for them to be providing instruction on a daily basis.
Mr. Rivers, I might add too, you know, it's particularly challenging once the school year starts, when you get someone that leaves, to find somebody. And to find anyone that's of quality. And I think, I really admire this about Jamar, is he's made it very public that we are not just gonna take anybody. And he's been sort of the firewall for that in some cases where a principal will be so eager to get someone, a warm body in there that we'll have to, let's just hold off.
Well, it's a problem it's just a devastating problem to a class, and it's just, it breaks my heart when I.
It's not unique to us.
Right.
Oh, I know, but
It's not.
I don't serve on a board in some of those counties,
Right.
this is my county.
Yes. And I will say, every resignation is not a bad thing. And I won't go into further details about that, but it's not a bad thing. Mr. Mims, you had a question, I believe, earlier.
The total, the last board meeting, there were 16 vacancies.
Yes,
Where are we now?
we're at 18. Mind you, we've had some retirements. For example, if you look on the vacancy report, you scroll back up, those that are in bold are new. We've added a new position, for example, an art teacher at Phoenix Academy. Before that was a psychologist. So that is now a new position. Go back further up, right here, the district-wide positions. Butterson, that is a new position for EC because of their head count. 3 positions that are highlighted, but that added an additional EC teacher. The office support person found a new position. Interventionists declined our offer. The instructional technologies technician resigned. So
So they're
those
not
are
all
new.
classroom teachers, but they do impact teaching and learning. And some are new positions.
Some are new positions, right?
Okay.
So are we using subs in pretty much all of those classrooms where we have vacancies?
Yes, we are, and our principals have been very creative, and in some instances, they may have combined some classes. I know that has happened in EC where the load was a little bit lower, so the director and the principal were able to consolidate a class.
How about, okay, I see it right at the bottom, but that's at Creedmoor Elementary speech. Wasn't there an issue, and now, you said go into open session. Can I ask about a particular facility in open session, not an individual, but just about a particular facility?
Yes.
Okay, then Butler STEM Elementary. I see the 5th grade teacher, I guess, that sort of been vacant pretty much most of the year,
Yes.
okay? But how about, I guess, speech, EC? Now, is that EC that's in bold, is that a new position,
That
or
is
is
a new
that?
position.
So,
The 5th grade position, the principal has been interviewed. I've spoken with principals this morning and last week about where are you with the process. So for example, at Butler STEM Elementary, I know she's conducting interviews this week for 5th grade and EC. We've actually had a December graduate who's interviewing at Butler STEM Elementary. So hopefully there'll be some recommendations come at our next board meeting.
well, I hope so, because, and I remember, Dr. McLean, you indicating that, you know, compared to others, we're probably not in as bad a shape, but as Mr. Rivers said, we live in Granville County, so we need to make sure that we have the teachers here. And the idea of pretty much going through a year and not being able to find a teacher, I don't care if unemployment is at 0. Somebody out there basically is looking, there's some teacher that's looking for a job. And I can understand us having high aspirations and high criteria, but the idea, if we're talking about we want to take care of the kids, get a teacher in the classroom. And I figured that's the principal's responsibility. And the principal responds to you. Get a teacher in the classroom. We can't take care of the kids unless we get somebody in there.
Well, I don't want the picture to be painted that there's no one there. But what we're talking are certified teachers who will be assigned to that room. In some instances, there's some retired teachers who've been in the district for many years, who've now sat out for their 6 months and they're able to come back and they want to make some money. We have some pretty neat options for some of them. But I will agree, we never want to have children. My daughter experienced it 2 years, once in elementary and once in middle. And she was in one county 1 year, and in middle school, another county. So I think what we're finding is education majors are becoming fewer and fewer. That's number one. Number two, while we took care as a state of first year beginning teacher salaries, we as a state didn't do very much to keep folk in this profession. And I think we have to even look at what we're doing in our county when we compare ourselves to our neighbors. I'm just being very honest. So we've got to understand the tentacles, because people have options and they have choice. And we've got to get competitive, not just with what we offer children, but with what we offer adults to come to our county and to stay in our county.
Well, to that end, Dr. McLean, maybe the real figure isn't 955, 770.
It's a nice concept, Mr. Mills.
That's what the budget process is all about, isn't it?
There we go, and we are about to embark upon ours as well. So the 955, 770 is very real for this year. This year, we need that to fill the hole. But you're right, there are some things. And just like I presented a budget last year, and we're always gonna bring my budget, mine is gonna come to this board, just like all the others. And we then played with it, put some things in front, made them ones that I maybe had as 5, 6, 7. The other thing is teacher support. When I look at some of the reasons our HR department gets for why people aren't staying, it's support. At the state superintendent's meeting last year, the state has finally realized they've cut central offices so slim across the state that they are taking back to legislators that we need some more positions. You're right. Who supports teachers? Where is the support?
But that just wasn't from the state. We got that from the county as well.
It's very clear that something needs to be done about a few pieces around the retention issue. The recruiting piece, yes, but I can always hold a fair. In fact, Mr. Perry, will you share with the board, because I'd love our board to be here, help us recruit your alma maters, places like that. Send that, this is a great place to go. But we have a winter job fair coming up.
Yes.
Will you share that with the board?
That is
please?
January 31st and February 2nd, held here in the county. We're recruiting for all positions, both certified and classified. And January kicks off recruiting season, so Angela Cogden will be on the road along with our principals and other central office staff on the road, recruiting across the state and across actually the United States, trying to find qualified candidates in County Public Schools.
So at a minimum, will you mark your calendars for January 31st? If you can, come out with us, because I hope we have a line out the front door. The problem is, we didn't have a line out the front door, but we made some neat hires last year as the result of a winter effort. That was something I saw in another county. A lot of counties don't do a winter job fair, but we decided, let's fight it, let's try it. And it worked. I think we made 5 or 6 hires, somewhere, something like that.
We hired 2 teachers out of that.
And so our principals will be working that night. Come with us. Help us talk to people and try to sell this community to educators. So we're going to do that again.
You know, this board has prospective teacher scholarships that nobody mentioned tonight.
We are working on that. That is part of our team meeting in the morning.
Okay.
Bus drivers,
What about it?
vacancies.
Bus
How
driver
many do we
vacancies.
need?
Well, I don't know how many we need, but do tell what you did over Thanksgiving when our bus garage.
Oh, yeah.
We parked the bus.
We parked the bus out of Walmart, you know, the big banner on it. And we have a batch of folks that are getting trained by, to get their CDL. They're going through the driving portion of it right here before Christmas, so it's about 25.
25, we have 3 that will
Just
apply,
completed.
who just completed to get a license.
So we have this bubble of drivers that's getting ready to come through. We're gonna do another one in January, February, so we're seeing some improvement, but it's tough.
It's good to know that. Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Do I have a
45 seconds, I promise. So I had asked Dr. McLean and Stan about the possibility of putting all the reorganization stuff in one place, and they think they can do that in Google Drive. So I'd like to see if that's something we're all interested in, because that's something they could possibly train us the night of the 18th during that session we're talking. Because I don't know, you said something about paper a little while ago, kind of that 5 big folders of this stuff that
Yeah.
I can't take to board meeting. So,
Yeah.
We can put it all in one place electronically to be able to get to, and we can show you how to get to it through this shared folder, if this is something you're interested in.
Interested, the point is, go ahead and do it, and those who want to do it, use it, fine. Those who don't want to use it, don't use it, but sure, go ahead and do that.
We'll do that.
All right, you said you need something time too?
I just,
Yes, sir.
I know this would take a legislative change, but how do we as a board approach the state school board to see if they can go in and lobby, since the entire state of North Carolina has a huge teacher shortage, to allow our retired teachers to come back and work more than 2.5 days a week?
That's a good point.
What would we have to do to get their attention? Because I know it's gonna take lobbying in the legislature, it's gonna take them to change, but to show, even with this new thing coming up with the K3, it's gonna increase the shortages of teachers.
Well, and something else that's going to increase the shortage that is it 2021 this day? I think superintendents were told, I heard rumor, but it wasn't confirmed. But when health insurance leaves
Oh,
Yeah.
in 2021, it's going to be dismal, Julie. It's going to be just near dismal for people not to be able to get health insurance.
Do you feel that this is something we, as a board, need to maybe form a letter of some kind to
We can
send? to
that's a
the
very
president?
good idea.
We can certainly craft a letter
Very
or
good.
a memo to the School Boards Association, but I will tell you, with the election that was just held, it's also been recommended that we get to know our new
I was
legislators.
gonna say, you would have more impact going directly to your local reps.
That's right. So would it be something, maybe at the start of a year, we'd be interested in having an event where we invite them to come see
Yeah,
us?
that'd be great.
And we get to share with them several of our concerns.
I'll let Dr. Hooley and write the bill.
I'm gonna let somebody else do that. We'll get either of you.
But would you be
No,
interested in?
that's what you have Leanne Winter for.
That's true.
But to get the ball rolling,
Yes.
a local legislator will.
Well, I've tried to run through our local legislature. You don't get too far with it.
No, he's a yes man.
We did have a legislator join us at the Safety Summit, who came that night, and it might be, you know, if you'd like for us to put an event or something together, we'd be happy to do that. We can invite several people to come see us.
Sure,
Chat,
sure, Fred will show up.
you know, and I can get the lists and all for something else.
We've had our legislators
legislator.
come to read this board. in the past.
Well, they used to need it.
But,
So we'll create some
Now
sort
it's
of
a solid
legislative.
65% of that.
I don't see that being.
All right, we're devolving
Wait, no,
quickly.
no, one legitimate question. The last state board meeting, any kind of feedback or report? I heard